All right. I'm a Marian helper. Make a phone call. Join. Become a Marian helper with me. I made a good move when I made that one. But anyways, I got an old tape on a prayer meeting I was doing. I taped it. Now, I just come across it again. And I said, wow, man, I can add to that. I know how to do that now. So what I'm going to do is just play it. I'm doing this my way. I'm not doing it with my RC500 because that's what I'm going to use when I cut my CDs. Right now, I'm cutting videos. And videos right now is what's motivating me because it's all new. All these songs are brand new. I have never played them before in my life. Yep. Wow. It's got to be situated. Wires drive me nuts. They are the curse of the musician. Wire curse. Because they're all over the place. Wires. They drive you nuts. I watch something's going to happen. This is going to shut off or something. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm a Marian helper. All you have to do is call up Father Chris Ally up there in Stockholm, Massachusetts. I think it is. Maine. Stockholm, Maine. No, Stockholm, Massachusetts. Yeah. I've got so many different places that I go to. I get it mixed up. Plus, I have Parkinson's and I have a little bit of memory loss. My Parkinson's isn't advanced yet. I think what I'm doing is I'm putting it on hold somehow. And all these. When I found out I had Parkinson's, I had fun with this thing. I never had one. This is the first beard I ever had. I ever grew. I never grew a beard before. This is my first beard. Look at that. See, there's down here on my chest. Well, anyways, it's a whole new creature got made. The last couple of years since COVID came, and I quit getting a haircut because they outlawed it. Maybe they caught that one lady in there that was a big wig in the government without a mask on. She was getting a haircut and stuff on. I don't want no part of that, so I just didn't get a haircut anymore. And I didn't quit cutting anything. I haven't cut anything. I haven't even trimmed. I should trim though, because this half right here, it's longer. Somehow. Why did that happen? I don't know. It's all probably because I sniffed one once. Because when it was all bunched up, it was off. And I did go in there one time, I did. And when I did that, I screwed my whole beard up. So what I have to do now is start all over. I have to turn it back all the way across. So it's all one length. Probably you can do it right down here somewhere. If too much, I can turn it up. I don't know if I'm a higher professional, then I can do that. This is my first beard. I fool around with it. I says, now I wonder if I didn't want this to be a beard. What if I wanted to be a mustache? So I take it and I pull it apart, right? And I go like this, I go. I pull it right apart like this, and I go like that, and I go, wow, look at the stash on that cat. Wow, who is that guy? Is he a musician? He's a musician. He looks like a nut. But he is a good nut. He's It's not a bad nut. It's a good nut. There's a difference between good nut and bad nut. You don't want any bad nuts. Everybody agree with me there? We don't want any bad nuts. Only good nuts. We'll take good nuts. Not good nuts. Very good nut. What? That's appropriate. That's appropriate name for me. Really good nut. Oh, the devil's trying to get me to joke. You do it. I'm gonna do it. No way. I've been through that road. I was just pulling my thing up to show you that my scar has gone away finally. My last scar. Where it was 2x4. I mean, a big fucking hit me right there. Oh, I was bringing it up the stairs and I slipped. Boom, it hit me on this. My wife almost got it done on the foot. She broke. Same thing happened to her almost again. We're getting old. We're fumbling around. Getting in action. I'm talking about a big ache coming through the jungle. Here, what I do is I make a mistake. When I make tapes, I got the thing going on in the background, and it doesn't bother me because I gotta put this on hold. Bam. Okay, now we have quiet. All right. So I was drawn into trying to be a jokester. I'm an Irishman, and I joke a lot. I do. If you knew me as a person, right? Which not too many people do know me as a person. I don't let nobody in because I've been ripped off so many times. But I do have some friends that come from way back in my past, sit around and look at me and say, "Oh, this is how you're thinking now? I remember when you," and I tell them, "Hold it, I don't hear you. God is wiping my brains. He's giving me Parkinson's and my memories. He's working. He's doing a lot of work. And I don't need you recalling anything that I did in the past when you knew me when we were teenagers and we were joking and laughing and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't want to know anything about that anymore. Because I'm a new creation. I'm a new creation in Christ Jesus. And I have been since I was 21. Nobody knew it really, because I moved away. I was out of here. I was out of my hometown. When I came back to my hometown, there's no prophet in your hometown. You can't be a prophet in your hometown. No way. Everybody knows everything about you. And I got that in my videos too. You want to know something about me and all the things I'm talking about right now? Check my videos out. I've already covered it. I got 100 or more videos. Not only on this channel, my 9431. Yeah, this channel is 9431. The other channel that I have is a newer one with my songs, more of my songs. I can't get out of yakking. I don't know why. I just got to yak because I don't have any friends. You guys are my friends. So you can get really sentimental about that statement, but I put it off because I enjoy videoing. I enjoy expressing myself without being interrupted with different opinions and all that stuff. What do you think like that? I don't think like that. I don't need anybody else's opinion right now. I'm trying to get mine across. And that's the problems I have when I get with family. You sit down at a table and you want to tell everybody what you've been through and how you're thinking. And you're the elder, but nobody gives a shit. They're all into themselves. You got to listen to them and about them because they're not socially advanced enough to listen. And the people that sit around and listen are looked on as being fools because they don't say nothing. They just listen. And that's what I do. And I pay for it. I pay for listening. And then when I try to voice my opinion, nobody wants to hear it because they're pooped out from listening about themselves or the other guy talking about themselves or whatever, you know. And when I want to come up with some insight from my 74 years on Earth, I'm looked at as, an elder. You're stupid. You're dumb. You're a misfit. That's how they think of me. That's what my family thinks of me. I'm a misfit. Little do they know, I built my own house with a hammer and a nail. Then I graduated into nail guns. And now I'm really good. I got a wood shop out there. I got every tool. That's well protected too. I got a security system and stuff. Tells me whoever's around, light comes on, all that stuff. Hey, somebody's snooping around. And the system goes on, says the system has just turned on, and then blah, 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 and they go through their spiel, and then they're scoping now. They're waiting, they're looking for something. I got two other cameras. We'll wait till you see these babies. Oh, I'm not going to show you because then you'll know if you're a crook and you're looking at this. You'll know what my cameras look like. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to camouflage them like this. You ain't never going to find my cameras. They're all over the place. And I got a 8-foot fence. I'm a hermit. I don't want nobody coming in and snooping around. I mean, I had my insurance company come. I'm not even talking about that because that's on another video too, what happened. Now I'm sitting here. Got personal problems now with insurance companies. Because, I'm not going to go into it. It's forgiven and forgotten. I'm waiting for a response for them to reinstate something. But I have insurances on my cars and all that stuff, so because that's the law, you gotta have insurance on your car and all that. You don't have to have insurance on anything else. You're just paying for your lack of trust that God's gonna protect you. You don't trust God, you have to have insurance. You have to have insurance. I mean, jeepers. I get lackadaisical in my thinking too sometimes. I say a word, you ever notice that about the English language? You say yes and it means no. Hey, you're bad, man. You're a bad dude, man. Wow. And that means good. You know, I'm telling you, the devil has control over our English language. You can't talk, say a sentence or something without being distracted because that sentence could be taken in another way. Because there's so many different meanings to the English language. That's why I ask God, God, I hope when we get into heaven that it's not English we're speaking. Because the devil has control over that. You can't say anything without it meaning something. And I'm not going to use an example because then I'm giving the devil the floor. Just like the phone companies gave their phone numbers to the demonic Satanists that are going through the world, joining all these porn places and giving their phone numbers back up. You know, they go on a list and 5 years goes by and somebody's got to have a phone number and boom, they give you that porn guy's phone number. And you're sitting down and you're saying the rosary. And what happens? This happened to me. I get a new phone, an upgrade, they give me a new number. I'm sitting down saying the rosary like I usually do. I mean, you can check, everybody can check my things out. I told them, hey, you can check everything of mine, my computers, every place I've been, the history. They know everything about you. They gather that information. How do you think you get the commercials you get? They're commercials to your interest. And how do they get that? They keep your information and they process it. It's all sophisticated, way above our heads, people. Why do you think all of our houses don't have a magnetic motor generator in them? on magnets, maybe the size of a magnet. Maybe it could probably be, I would think that would work for your house to run everything. The magnet would have to be the size of a medium fan. You know, the fan that you can blow on yourself and everything. They're about what? I'd say 18 inches, right? And you take that, and this is what I'm going to do. This is why I'm going to enjoy making this film right here. Because I'm going to incorporate some other music that I've already done. But I'm going to just show you one thing that I'm working on. Because I don't know, I don't care if anybody knows about it, because maybe they'll try it. I hope they get blessed better than me if they try it. But I got myself a big magnet. Ooh, oh man, I hurt my finger on that one. And it's powerful. I can't even get it off there. Oh my God. Oh, jeez. Imagine I can't pull it off there. That's my mic stand. But look at that. Here it is right here. My magnet. Look at that. Here, let's see. This is the magnet I'm going to work with to make this thing. I've got wire. And the way I'm going to wrap the magnet, I'm going to keep the plastic on the wire. Because all I need is the coil. All this, it doesn't make a difference. It's better because then you can glue it as you're coiling it. You can glue it here with your hot glue gun or something. And you just keep on wrapping it and wrapping it and wrapping it until you get around 3 or 4 layers high. And then there's other things that I got to do. I have to actually get a voltage deregulator to take the voltage down, so I can run light bulbs off of it, because it'll be so powerful, it'll just blow the light bulb out. Yeah, I've got all the information. I've watched the films. I've got it up here. It's here. I just got to do it now. And once I make this one I'm going to do right here, it's going to have an electrical outlet, and there's going to be spark plugs involved with it, big ones. I'm going to get big spark plugs, diesel spark plugs probably. I don't know yet. Whatever works the best. But all I'm trying to do right now is to prove a point, because the next time I make a film, I want this to be working. And I'm waiting. Now, there's a priest coming up from Kenya that is really interested in all this stuff, because down there's no electric where he is. Though they're trying to come up with gasoline engines, then you're subject to buying gas, and you got to have mechanics to take care of the engines and all that stuff. And when I told them about the magnetic generator that can actually generate enough electricity to charge a battery, a big marine battery or something, you can run tools off of it. I got one right here. I'm just looking for a way. I got it right here. Probably be better for me to point it that way. But take my word for it. It's right over here in the corner. I'm not going to go through it. But I got a battery. It's a marine battery that I use for boats and stuff. You charge them up, man, they're powerful thing. They're powerful. Got good cranking power too. And I have the 2 tongs. And on the end of the 2 tongs, I have an outlet like you have for your cigarette lighter. And my tools, I have tools that hook up to that. One that I use this to sharpen my chainsaws. When I want to run the tool for chainsaw, that's all. My tool to sharpen chainsaws is all set up for batteries. Because if I was out somewheres and I need to sharpen my blade real quick, I can come back and hook up to my battery, and the tool would run off my battery good enough so I could take it. Or I could do it hand. But this thing is fast, quick. Zip, 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 you're done. You're back cutting. Instead of going, how many times did I do that? Okay. So that, I get this up. Zip, 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 zip. It's all done. I know I've done it already. I've got a couple chainsaws that I'm going to be using here to cut up some branches. Oh, I had a bad accident. Oh, boy. That could have killed me. Could knock me right off the roof. People in the back complaining about my trees blocking the sun in the early morning. Once it gets up in the air, then they're okay. But they got a pool and a garden and all that stuff. And they said they'd pay me half the money it cost me to chop down a tree. So I had it estimated $2,200. Guy came. I'll take that tree down. Yeah, he'll take that tree down. I'm going, I'll go out and buy everything. $2,200? I'll go out and buy myself a pole saw that's the top on the market. And I'll come back and I'll take those branches off that tree one at a time. And I did. I was doing it. But I was ignorant because I didn't have the experience of doing it. I'm not a tree surgeon. I was when I was a child. I helped some friends of mine's father that was a tree surgeon, and I helped him on trees and stuff. So I had a tree background. I know how you have to pull the ropes and put the ropes on the top and do the certain things to make the tree fall a certain way and all that stuff, right? I know how to do all that stuff. But I didn't have current or up to date with these new pole saws they got out now. Roby's got this new pole saw, and it's got an 8-inch blade on the end of it, and it's a good 10-foot long. On the end of it, you got a chainsaw. You stand in there going, I'm going, zzz, and then I go, just as the limb starts to crack, I hear it crack, I let go. I don't cut no more. And the weight of the limb eases the branch down. And if it stops right here, I hit it a little bit more, and it eases it down. And it actually is hanging there against the tree. Great big limbs too, I'm talking big limbs. That's the way I do it. That's the way I was taught to do it when I saw the other guy, Mr. Mushak, his name was. Mushak, John Mushak. He taught me how to be a tree surgeon. He was a good guy. I liked him. His sons were all musicians. They all played, Stephen played the organ, and his brother played the drums, David, and Mike played the bass. He was good on that bass. He was the brains behind everything. Mike was an electrician. He only had one weakness. Women. Oh, he later became a Jehovah's Witness and straightened his act right up in his married days. But in his bachelor days, he didn't even forget about it, man. And again, it was all over the place. He was a walking hormone that needed to be tamed quite a bit. But anyways, I know him because he was a friend. I was the band boy. I met him when I was 12 years old, and they were, like Mike was, let's see, he was a couple years older than me. He was 15, 3 years older than me. And then he turned 16, and then David was 12. I met David in a fight. Him and I were the two ones that everybody was afraid of at the grade school. Dave Mushak and Bill Nixon. And then when I first went there, I didn't know who he was. He had to challenge me, see how tough I was. I was in a fist fight with him. That's how he became my friend. Everybody I had a fist fight with at that age became good friends. I became good friends with a lot of them. Oh, some of them that I broke their arms and stuff, they didn't want to be my friend. That's the ones I really beat up bad, huh? But anyways. But if we were there duking it out and I was looking at him, he's looking at me, when are you going to move? What are you going to do, man? You gonna fight? You gonna punch me or what? And then I'd make the gesture. I was the first one. I was always the one that did it. I says, you know what? You look like a good guy. I'd rather be your friend than fighting you. And then they go, me too. And then we were friends. That happened to me quite a bit. Dave was one of them. Dave Mushak, he was one of them. His brother was a little Stephen, he was a little caped warrior. He used to run around with a big towel around his neck as Superman hero or something. You know, he'd jump off porches. He was 10 years old. You know, he's probably what, in his 70s now, because I'm 74 and I was 12. He was 10. Dave was 12. Yeah, so he's 2 years younger than me. So he's probably 72, 71, 72 now. He's still alive. I don't know. He did stop by here one time years ago. He caught me right in the middle of everything, and it was just crazy because he didn't know how to act, and I didn't know how to act. I hadn't seen him in such a long time. I wanted to hug him real hard, but yeah, you don't do that stuff. When you haven't seen somebody in a long time, and he wasn't, you know, kind of like he was your brother's friend rather than your friend, really, because he was my brother Mike's friend. Stephen was. He was my brother Mike's age. They hung out together. I can tell you some really things. I gotta hold back. You can't do what I know I can do. You can't do those things. You can't be joking and be serious at the same time, because everybody's gonna laugh and they're gonna just think of you as a joker. And that's not what I am. I'm an Irishman. I got variety. I tell jokes. You know, some of my tapes, I tell jokes. They're just common sense humor. I'm making them up as I'm telling them. And they come out, they make you roll on the floor. My dad had that talent. He was a comedian. If they would have discovered him out in California, he'd been filthy rich. He used to go to the bars. That's how he got his customers. He went to the bars and told jokes. Hey, Donnie, come on over here, tell some jokes, man. Buy him a drink, you know. He'd be smashed and he didn't spend a cent. But he'd have all these people's names, you know. My kid needs a car. I need a truck. That's how he got his business. And a millionaire saw him do that once in a bar. A millionaire, a multi-millionaire. I don't think he's alive now. But, he was my dad. He loved my dad. My dad, anytime this guy he'd call my dad over to tell jokes with his friends and stuff. Because my dad was the life of the party. You know? He had a lot of friends like that. Family was different, though, with my father. My father was an authoritarian figure in my family. I mean, when he walked into the house, everybody had to be shaking in their boots. And when he spoke, you had to obey or you got to whip it real hard, too, with welts. So big, they had to stick you in a tub of cold water to make the welts go down, because if anybody saw it, they'd call the cops on you and have you arrested for child abuse. Yeah. Talk about an MP, Marine, MP in charge of the brig that locks you up. My dad, that's my dad. You're in, and you're not getting out. Your time's up, and you're not going to like your time here, because I'm going to make it hell. You never want to come back here. That's what he was. He was my dad. That's the way I was brought up. I got some stories in there to make you roll on the floor. Oh, check out my videos, man. Donate to my charity down in Kenya. And George Kenya. Father James Kariuki. 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 He has a foundation down there. You have to search for it. It's not easy to find. I got to tell him about that, because I had a difficult time trying to find this foundation. And when I found it, I got sidetracked and I didn't go into it to see what it was all about and bookmark it. Now I got to go through all that again, trying to find it again. So I call him up. He's got, it's a strange situation. It happened a couple weeks ago. I heard that there was going to be a mass at a church north of me, about 12 miles north of me, in a small town that I used to live in when I was a little kid. And my uncle lives there with his family. He had a good business. He owned a theater, and he had an insurance company. He was pretty. He was well off. He did pretty good. He had 2 daughters and a son. All kinds of stories there. Oh, God. But anyways, I got a history. I tried to reveal some of the main parts. The reason why I made all these films, not because of my ego or anything, because I'm going to be dead here. I don't give a darn. You know? I don't have no ego. I don't have any. I'm just a person. I made them to generate enough interest, probably because of my musical talent and my background. I worked with juvenile delinquents, adjudicated juvenile delinquents. I've been kicked in the shins, believe me, and it hurts. So I've got a whole history there. I was a certified New York State school teacher, industrial arts for BOCES. I ended up. And then there was complications and I had to leave. I'm not going to take, because the whole new show up there now. I'm talking about in the 80s. Good guy, this is the 23rd, 24th into the other century. I'm talking about back in the 80s. They had a different way of thinking back then. Like my mother. My mother came up in the 30s where there was a lot of prejudice, and she lived in Duluth, Minnesota, which is a town for fair-haired, blue-eyed Swedes and Irish and all that stuff, which she ended up marrying, because I'm half Irish. But back then, they didn't want you around, man. Oh, you take your kids, and you take to another church. Don't bring your family here and get involved with our families. That's the way they were back then, 30s down. Very prejudiced. I mean, they even had places where you could go to the bathroom down in the South, you know. They were real that prejudiced. You couldn't go to the same bathroom and stuff at one time in this world. No longer. But everybody has wine and cheese, and I always say, you know, when they start whining about all their heritage and all this other stuff, I say, I got any cheese to go along with that wine. Because I got the same heritage you do, and I'm a white man. Well, how did you get persecuted because of your color? And you're a white man? No, I'm a fair-skinned white man because I'm half Irish. But my mother comes from the Italiano Sicilia. They're dark-skinned, dark-haired, dark eyes, black or brown or whatever. My mother had her eyes weren't as dark as the rest of her family because she was born from French too, because the heritage goes back. And I've got films on all that. I'm not going to go into that. But I am supposedly being related to the heritage that came down from Frank. Before France was called France, it was called Frank. And what happened is the Jerusalem and crucifixion and all that stuff. Margaret Mary Magdalena, I think. I'm just relating back what was told me. I don't have any written proof or anything. But what was told me is that Mary Magdalene married into the French nobility, and on down the line, my great-great-grandfather was of that nobility. But he didn't marry, he lived with a peasant, because they couldn't marry, because royalty couldn't marry peasants. So they lived together, and they had my great-grandmother. That'd be my grandmother? Yeah, no. No, she's the one that came over. So, no, it would be my great-grandmother that was in love with the French nobleman, and they had their daughter, which was my grandmother. Not documented now. There's no documentation that she's royalty or anything, because they lived together. They weren't married. They couldn't marry. She was a beautiful woman, too. that side of my family, they're very handsome people. Very baby faced too. Everybody looked at me when I was 20s and 30s. You're a fighter? You look like a kid. Yeah, well, you let me hit you on the jaw. You won't think. But anyways, let's not get kidding here. Now see, I lost track. Where was I? There's my evidence of my Parkinson's disease. Right there. Sometimes you'll see my hand that's going like this. Especially if I'm doing something and the other hand has to match it. I catch myself doing something, cooking or something like that. My other hand's doing the same thing as this one. They call it shaky hand syndrome. It's supposed to be the first stages of Parkinson's disease. And that's what I had. Pretty bad a while back. But it's tamed down a lot because of I think the vitamins and minerals and the different types of roots that I've been digging up and drinking after I mash. I mash them, make a mesh out of them. And the mesh is just like going in the woods and finding a distill. It distills their mesh. It could be potato mesh, it could be corn mesh, it could be whatever mesh, but it's making alcohol. Well, I've got this root that I'm digging up, and I'm making a mesh out of it. But before I make a mesh out of it, I put it through my juicer and I take all the juice out of the root. The upper tip of the root is softer. As you get up the root, it's too hard to cut. So you gotta cook it. Draw off with reverse osmosis water or distilled water, something that doesn't have deleterious substances in it. You want reverse osmosis is the best way to go. It takes everything 1 micron and above out, all your arsenic, and frog puke, fish slime, all that stuff. Takes it all out. Reverse osmosis. That's the most exact way. Now it's very expensive to make those units, but I'm telling you right now, Florida should be making a big investment, and they might be, but a big investment in huge osmosis plants that can take ocean water and turn it into drinkable water. Now, I'm not talking about the water your lawn or anything like that. I'm talking about to survive, something to drink. It's going to cost money to do that. And that's where they should make their investment, because they don't have a choice other than piping it in from someplace else. I don't know what would be cheaper. I don't know. I was saying, why not just have these big reverse osmosis units all over Florida? Charge for it. You get charged for water? Well, you're not paying too bad for water now. My water bill was like $300 or something like that for the year. $500 at the most, because I got a pool. But what they do now, they charge you for your sewage too, see, because I'm hooked up to a sewer now. I wasn't before when I bought this property. It was all septic. But now that the sewer's in, they got to charge you for the sewer, so they go by how much water you use. So if you got a swimming pool, and you fill that up, that used to be you called in and they deducted it, not anymore. You get greedy. It's greedy. I ain't paying that much for water anyways. Come on now. That's what they think. Just like the banks. They see all these checks coming in and they're frothing at the bit. How can we get some of that money that sits in and we're paying interest on it? They can't go, they're millions of dollars they're making, and they get greedier. Now that what they're doing is get Parkinson's disease. You tell them you do. I've told them I got Parkinson's. Think they make a suggestion? Oh, well, every first of the month when your check comes in, you should take and deposit some of that money into your checking account automatically, like the third or fourth day into the month or something like that. Think they tell me that? I had to find it out on my own. Know what they did? They took my money that I had saved up, 30 grand or something like that, in this one bank. They take my money and loan it back to me in my checking account, because if my checking account goes down, I forget to put anything in there. They loan me $500 that goes in there, and then I got to pay interest on the $500 until it's paid back. And they don't hurry you up. Come on, let's pay this off. They let you every time $31 comes out and all the interest. $31 comes out and all the interest. Until they milk that $500 to where they're making a chunk of change. And if you got a poor memory and they do that more than once, they're making pretty good money off you, aren't they? You don't think they know that? They're not going to tell me how to bank. You want to learn how to bank? Go take a banking course like we did. That's what we get paid for. But it's not enough for them making the interest off your money. You got 30 grand in there. I don't know how much money can they make off of 30 grand. That's nothing. I'm talking about people who got millions of dollars in there. I don't know if they'd have it on their bank or not, probably. If they had millions, they probably wouldn't have it in their bank. But one situation I had to build this place here I'm sitting in. I got a loan from the company, the lumber company. They gave me money to build this house, but I had to buy my materials from them. That was the deal. And then if I didn't pay them back within a year after I got the loan, everything was theirs. I had to sign something for that. So I was in a hurry getting a loan somehow. And then what happened is the devil pulled another one on me because I only made this a 1-bedroom home at the time. So when they had it appraised by the bank came and he said, I don't know of any new 1-bedroom homes. I can't get any comps for it. So I'm just this house is only worth $30,000 the way it is. Come on, man. You know how much it is for per square foot to build a house? $230. That's today's. Well, back then it was 125, 150. All depends on what things going in. You got oak trim in your house, maybe a little bit more than that. All depends on what you put in. You can put granite countertops in. It's a little bit more than that. All depends on the quality of your house. And I have a medium. I'm moderate. I have just put in after 8 or so years. What? 8 years. How long have I lived here? 1988. I moved into this house. We moved in on our anniversary, August the 2nd, 1988. And I had a little cat. I had a picture of Frosty. She lived 19 years. Now we got 2 cats. They're 2 years old apiece. They're bobtails. Man, can they hunt mice? Woo! And snakes. I just got a snake this morning. And they let you know when they come in. They're going, ee. They never do that unless they got something that they're bringing in from outside. Then they start whining. Hey, you might want me to look at this. I don't know. Here's what I found out there. And he plops the snake in the middle of my road. It coils right up. Is that poisonous? I'm looking at it. Oh my goodness! I'm gonna lose my cats to poisonous snakes. Luckily, there are just gardener snakes around here, and they're not poisonous. But if I was had those cats, and I moved out to Colorado or something like that, heck, that could be a rattlesnake in the middle of my floor. And you gotta cage your animals. All depends on where you're living. Around here, they stay around my house because I let everything grow up. And then I got all these machines, I just zip it down at the end of the year. But they don't leave the yard. It's their jungle. And they hunt in it. They want to go nowhere. I got a big 8-foot fence. They don't care. This is their place, man. Once in a while, I do catch them outside the fence, heading for the hill. Now, the next door neighbor says that they do go up on a hill. And I don't like that because I've hunted that hill and I know that there's dingo dogs and there's fox up there and there's these dogs that had these real long ears. I mean, they came up, they were like that. I scared one right in front of me once. I shot my bow at it, I missed it. And I'm glad I did. I just don't like to kill things. But I shot my bow at it and it went right over its head. Boing! stuck in the tree in the back of it. Went up like this, and his ears went way up in the air. Boy, they were big ears. He got up and he pounced over and he went over and he posted on me. I could have put him right down right then and there with my bow and arrow. He was within 20 yards. If he's in 20 yards, I can hit the bullseye. If you're within 20 yards. I was deadly at 20 yards. And you know, that was a little guessing higher or lower or whatever, you know, anything other than 20 yards. But my bow was powerful enough to get that arrow right there, you know. You had to have a pretty strong bow to get at 20 yards to get right where you're pointing at. No dipping of the arrow or anything, just straight in. And I was good at that. I was called an instinctive hunter. I hunted instinctively. And then later on in life, I got, oh, I don't want to pull this thing down. Boy, that thing was, boy, that was a single pull. It wasn't a compound, you know. Now I got a compound, which I'm going to get out, see if I can pull that back. But I can loosen that, so I can pull it back and just use it for target shooting or something like that. Something where I'm exercising, I'm moving, you know, I'm moving, I'm digging the spirit, man. I'm getting into life. You can take and get a bowl of ice cream and lay on the couch and watch TV, and you'll be dead in 5 years, I guarantee it. When you're in your 70s. You gotta stay active, you gotta stay stretching, and you gotta ease up on your diet. Heavy this, heavy that, barbecued hamburgers and steaks and hot dogs. You can't do that anymore. You gotta take the NutriBlend stuff. Get all your vegetables, all that stuff, put them in a blender, make a sauce out of them. Put it in your tomato sauce when you eat your spaghetti next time or something like that. Eat like that. Not where there's bulk in your stomach, your system has to work, digest it and all that. When you get it in liquid form almost, you know, it goes right in, absorbed, and that's good. That's the way I'm experiencing it. I don't have as many upset stomachs as I used to have. I'm starting a NutriBlend now. And I buy my juices from the supermarket. I buy carrot juice, 100%. My eyesight is getting better. Because I'm drinking that, and I'm taking an eyesight vitamin. Not a vitamin, a mineral. This guy, there's this NASA scientist made a diet up for the astronauts and all that stuff. This stuff was all top secret at one time. And then they finally put it on the market not too long ago, and I was notified immediately because they know what I look for. They collect all kinds of information about you, and they get you to agree to it, and they get all this information, and when they sort it out, the ad people, they don't want to send, well, if you're allergic to something, they don't want to be sending you their product. You're not even going to, they're wasting their money sending it to you. Or if you don't want it or don't like it or never voiced an interest in it. It's what you voice an interest in is what the market is. And that's what all these people, their data and all that stuff, sorts it all out. So here I am, wondering about my memory loss and wondering about, what else was I wondering about? My eyesight. I don't have anything on there about teeth yet, but I don't know if there's any kind of a vitamin or mineral you can take for your teeth. But I have most of my teeth, but I'm old, I'm 74, I gotta get them. They're not straight like they used to be. They're kind of like humping over each other and stuff. You know, they're crowding out. My mouth is shrinking and my teeth are shrinking. My body's shrinking. I know it is because I went to get measured the other day, and I'm usually 5'9" 3/4, and I was 5'7" 1/2, 5'7" 3/4. That's 2 inches I lost. Getting shorter. So I know that my mouth and my jaws and my bone, everything is getting smaller. Your bones and everything, they kind of like, your body shrinks as you get older. And when it does, your teeth they fold over on each other and stuff because the jaw's shrinking. Too. At least that's what I'm experiencing. I don't know if it's for everybody. I see people with beautiful teeth. You know, most of them are capped. That's what I want to get because I have a cap right here, bridge. 1, 2, 3. I had a tooth pulled in the middle of my jaw, and then they capped the other 2 on each side and put the false one in the middle, so I clean it out and all that stuff. And I've had that in there since I was 20 something, 21, 22. No problems. I'm only having problems when I didn't have anything capped. You know, I'm having problems with those teeth. And it, I had a problem with a tooth that they killed the root on. And so now I'm going to have that one removed and a bridge put in again. And I'll be okay on that side. I'll be able to chew again and stuff. Good. But I'm not chewing anymore, really, a lot. I mean, I still like to have a steak. One of those nice sizzlers, burnt, crisp, and all that stuff on the edges. They're bad for you, too, because I just read an article on it. You're not supposed to eat stuff off the grill, especially if it's burnt. There's some type of effect it has on your system. I just learned that. I haven't eaten on the grill lately. I did have some steaks, though, at the beginning of the year, though. They were good. You got to bypass a lot of this stuff. You do it once in a while. You know, they're talking about somebody going out there and grilling every night, I guess. It's bad for you to have stuff burnt, eating that every night. All that. I remember when I was archery, I was in charge of cooking hot dogs. And I like my hot dogs a little bit crispy, like a little burnt. And everybody, they couldn't get him off that grill. Well, he's burning the hot dogs. Look at him. I didn't know. You can't eat burnt stuff off a grill. You know, I didn't know that. This is the way I like my hot dog. You like mine? Here, get the mustard, get the radish. Yeah, there's pickle radish, relish. Oh, the relish. The relish and oh man, I'm gonna go make me something to eat right now. I'm hungry. I talk myself and getting out of this, but here I go again. I was gonna do music, right? And I think, I did like this. I don't know. Luckily, I'm only doing it for a charity because this is the only reason why I'm making all these films. I got over 100 of them. In every film, I talk about Kenya and the dirt poor mud hut people that live on the river down there, getting their water from the middle of the river because they wash their clothes on the side of it and they can't get drinking water after you wash your clothes on it. So they have to go out in the middle of the river. And that river's a big river, but it's a drought down there, so it's down. So the little kids are going out in the middle of the river, and guess who's watching them? Oh, crocodilians, the crocodiles, the dinosaurs, ancient dinosaurs. I was looking at a picture of a dinosaur, Tyrannosaurus Rex and stuff like that, and their mouth, a lot less teeth than a crocodile, and the mouth isn't as big. Crocodile's mouth, they're as big as my truck. I got a Ford Ranger, and they weigh as much as my truck. You imagine their jaws coming down on you, 3,000 PSI. They got you. You're never going to get out, man. You're done. They just go limp and take you down, and you drown, and they feed off you. That's what they're doing to all these poor little children down in Kenya. 100 cases a year. Imagine that. Mommy, they got Joey. What? She screams out of the house. She's running down the riverbank. She sees Joey out in the middle of the river with the crocodiles got him and his arms sticking out. Mommy, come on, and down it goes. Your child, you watch your child being eaten by a crocodile. You can't even kill them because they're protected. Their ecosystem. People come as tourists to watch them eat herds coming across the river. Oh, when do they come around? Oh, yeah. Oh, I want to be down there then. You're staying in a big hotel room, looking down with your binoculars. The crocodiles eating buffalo or zebras or the giraffes or whatever's crossing. You get to see that. That'd be worth my vacation time, wouldn't you think? Then look around at all the mud hut people, all the poor people, dirt poor people, can't even afford to buy a loaf of bread. And they send their priests. Catholic priests are ministering to these people. And they send them up here to the United States to beg for money. And that's how I got involved. Father James Kiriyuki came to my church, and I have voice said inside me, this man is desperate. He's a desperate man. No, I made communications with him, and I've been working ever since. And I'm not going to tell you how much money or everything else that came out of my own pocket. I'm not going to tell you that, because God, He repays me all the time, every time He repays me. I got surplus of His money that He repaid me. I'm not rich, but yet I'm not poor. And I can help out if somebody's going through horror in life. We all have them horrors, especially in your old age. When you get old and you can't do nothing about it, and you want to go and get to the bathroom and you can't. You got to piss down your leg. You can't make it to the bathroom. Yeah, that's how it gets, people. But you're young now, and you don't listen to the elderly talk anymore. In the United States, we've all got our own problems. We all got too much on our dish to listen to what you got on yours. And if you do get in a little bit, they sympathize with you. Oh, it's too bad. Then they go right back into theirs. They're self-centered. Everybody is self-centered in today's society. We're egoistic hedonists egoistic hedonist is a pleasure seeker. And that's his ego is to get as much pleasure as he can get. And some people want it immediately. They won't work for it. I'll work this job for 5 years and I'll have a down payment for a house. Yeah, not today's society. You got to give it to them. You want them to get into the house and they don't have a job and stuff like that. They ain't going to earn it. Everybody wants a job with a tie and a suit, some elevator to go up to the 10th floor or 100th floor or whatever it is. You're going to be Mr. Exec. Where we got to keep our borders open. Everybody's saying Biden, you don't know what he's doing. Well, if we don't keep the borders open and make the people let the people come across so they can pick the fruit, we're going to have a bunch of rotten fruit. We're already at zero population growth in the United States. We're killing 55 million babies. Imagine that. 55 million babies have been aborted since the abortion law went into effect. How many of those babies would have been adopted and you would give them a bath and you're drying them off and you put your nose on their head? They're going, Mommy, don't give me my baba. And you smell their head and the fragrance of innocence. Your little baby that you love and all that. Well, how many of those 55 million could have had a life like that? That's why I say God is the closest to you when you're in the womb. He gives you a soul and a guardian angel. And He watches you form in the womb. Now, there's exceptions where there are cases, and I'm one of them, where the baby doesn't come out right. So you hold it against God because the baby didn't come out right. Well, went through it. I know what I'm talking about. You have to check out my films. Because I'm not going to go into it right now because I'll start crying. You don't want to see me cry. But I gotta fight. I gotta fight. Every day I gotta fight. I thought God was going to be in my corner. I found I'm in his corner. I'm fighting fights outside the ring because every time I get in the ring, I get knocked out. Oh, I got some stories. They're on my videos. They're on my videos. 100 of them I got so far. Who knows? I might have 500. I don't know. I'm a legend of my own mind, I guess. I want to make it so we have water wells all upside both the riverbanks. And when you come to get your water, you don't have to wait for somebody pumping theirs in a line that's 100 people long or something like that. You just come and there's a big, huge well already pumped. The water's already in it. And you just take the bucket and go on and you take off. And it's fresh water. Nothing with turds in it floating around. Or fish slime or frog puke or whatever is in that water. I think they're putting chemicals in it to get people off the river so they can bring hotels in. Hey, oh, look at that gator. Look at that gator. Crocodile. Look at that croc. Get that zebra. Oh my goodness. Imagine how much money is going to be generated if they could advertise something like that. Come to Kenya and watch the crocs eat the zebras. I don't know, would that be something that people would want to do? I do. But I'm just saying, it's different strokes for different folks. Everybody has their, I'd like to go see that. I know those guys that save all their money up, extra money, just so they can go on a hunt. That costs probably $2,800, $3,000 to go on a 2-week hunt, some club somewhere. And they got it all arranged, and they take you out, and they show you where the game is, and all that. And all a whole show. I know guys that do that. That's what their interest is. So I don't know, there's guys out there who'd like to see a croc eat a zebra. I'd rather see one eat a giraffe. That would be something else. How are they going to bring that giraffe? Wow. That would be something else. And 2 crocs probably bring down a giraffe. One on each leg. Break the legs. Boy, they have turning power. They weigh as much as my truck. I got a Ford Ranger. Single cab. Good condition too. And I got 20,000 miles on it, and it's got the original tires on it. It's a 206. I bought it in 207 off a little old man. He was hurt. I bought it off. He gave me a couple thousand off. He only used it to go back and forth to the store and doctors and stuff. And then he had to go in a nursing home. His daughter wanted to sell it, so they put it on the market. And I was in the market for a truck. I always wanted to have a small pickup, so I bought it. It had all the little extras on it, power steering, power brakes, automatic transmission. So I ain't shit and all that. I don't have a headache or anything like that at my old age. I just put it in drive and there I go. And it's a 6-cylinder. It's got some, wow. I put my foot on that gas, wham! But so doesn't the gas gauge go wham. So we're getting away from that stuff now. Not my age, probably. I'm still going to be around with the gasoline engine. They're not going to let that. They swept what I'm trying to do right here with this. That's been under the rug. That's swept under the rug. I can't get that off there. How am I going to get that off there? A pry bar or something. I'll get a pry bar. Probably do with a pry bar. I got some out my shop. Boy, that thing is, imagine the power. Look at that. I can't get that off of there. That's magnetic power. And you know what happens when you put power against power? You can't bring them together. Boom, they go apart. And if you got a small magnet, that's the power, again, north to north. Small magnet, let go of it, it will shoot across the room like a bullet. This thing has power. And how do they make them? I don't know. I still don't know how you make a magnet. I think it's something to do with electric or something like that. Some type of a charge or something on that metal. I don't know. But what they've done with these round magnets is they cut them like a horseshoe. Cut them. And then they take and bend the power that is between north and north. You know, that repellent power? Oh, it's got a lot of power. And drawing power, too. Look at the drawing power this thing has. Look at that. I can't even get it off. This is the future. I told Father Kiriyuki and Father Paul, what was his last name? Mariani? Mariani. Mariani. I think his name, Marian. He is the brotherhood priest with Father James Kiriyuki in Kenya, and George Kenya, N, capital N, Jorge, I think that's how I say potato, they say potato, I don't know. And George, Kenya, Africa. That's where these guys are ministry. They have they're Catholic priests. And he's up here because we need him bad. And when the people see how holy they are, they work up to death. I mean, the guy has to leave the country to get a rest because the people sense his spirit, and he's a good priest, and they want to run him right in the hole, really. And you come here to the United States, and you're a priest, and you're in charge of your parish. You're also the one that has to call up if something goes wrong and make sure it's done right. They used to have men's clubs, but they don't even have those. Oh, some parishes do, probably. I talked to a priest once. He said, I'd like to be a priest. I don't want to be an administrator. He goes, I'd like to just be a priest. That's what I became a priest for, so I can minister to people. I don't want to be an administrator that delegates work parties and stuff like that to do this and that and fix this and fix that. Then somebody else got to do that. Let me do my ministry. I talked to a priest like that, and that's why I'm bringing it up now. There's other concerns in the brotherhood out there, and you know they got their ministry, and you're fatiguing them, you're burning them out, and they're quitting. They're retiring, getting out of it. I just talked to one that had 40 years in it, the priest. And that's the only thing he doesn't like. He doesn't like to delegate work parties and stuff. He just wants to minister to people and hear confessions, say mass, visit hospitals and stuff like that. He's a good guy. But he's a different personality than what I'm used to. I'm used to being counseled when I go to confession. I sought out a spiritual supervisor or something, a spiritual director, priest, clergy. I was going to try a brother once, but I don't know. I like that thing of, they have that, take that vow of silence. They can't tell anybody about you, or it's against their faith or their priesthood to do that. So that's why I like priests. That's why I use them as counselors. And I find one that's pretty solid. That he's heard a lot of confessions. He knows what's going on in the world. He's seen things work and he's seen things not work. I like to get a guy that's old enough to have that type of stuff. You get these young guys and they come up, start a thing, they're zealous, they're really on fire with the Lord and all that stuff. They're they're for the younger generation.
I'm an old timer, I'm antiquated, I need some wisdom when I sit down and I go to confession. You know, I'd like to know the reason why something might have happened, how I can counter that and not let it happen again. Have somebody smart enough to tell me that. But I'm getting so old, is that, and I'm educated. I got 200 credit hours. College, you only need 190 for a doctorate's degree. I got 200 top quality courses too. Not counting all the courses I took and dropped after 8 weeks because you wouldn't have to pay for them. I'd take courses, get all the syllabus and all that, and how it's laid out in the books and all that. And after 8 weeks, drop the course because it's too much for me to handle. I don't have to take any exams or anything. I got all the material. I can do it at my own leisure. Did I do that? Well, I got something from every course that I took, that's for sure. I got some interaction class, interaction too. That's where you learn. You learn in the first 8 weeks of the course is where you learn everything, how it's laid out, what books you gotta get, who you gotta read, who's a favorite, who isn't favored, all that stuff. First 8 weeks. Then, if it's too much for you, you can drop it. You don't get charged. I think there's a late, some type of a re percentage, 20%, 10, 15%, or something like that, that it costs you for the course. But you don't get charged the full price because you drive it. Well, okay. The only thing that keeps you from, when you do something like that is you don't take exams. So you never get credit for it. On my transcripts, all they say is, grade point average, this and that, right? And then they say credit for the course. I go, has a zero line through it or something like that. I think that's what it is. I haven't looked at it in a long time, but dropped. With no credit. I don't know how it affects your grade point average. Because they count, do they count, if you drop it, do they count you as that as an attempted? I don't know if they can figure in attempted, courses or not. But probably the ones that you finish, you have, the tests and all that, the ones your grade point average is figured out. Mine was, I graduated, this is get you to. My thing was 3.0 because I was a high school dropout. And, they offered me, to go back to get my, what do they call it? Diploma, high school diploma. They had a program that there was 20 hours of satisfactory courses. You didn't get college credit for it, but you got an S, satisfactory finished, satisfactorily finished. And if you finish these courses, you got see my Parkinson's. You get a high school GED. You're seeing my sickness now. I'm getting fatigued. I only got so many hours in me. I don't know how long this is going. I've got to keep on here 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 47 minutes. Oh, come on, man, what did I tell you? I told you everything. I was talking that long. Oh, God. But anyways, I am a school teacher. I'm paid to talk. And I did that most of my 30s, some of my 40s. Then I became a real estate broker, salesman. I was a salesman for 6, 7 years, and I said, hey, everybody's making money in this as a broker. I went and got my broker's license. And I went to work as an associate broker with a couple outfits. They're still grabbing everything you got, You're getting more now because you're a broker and you're advertising, people got more confidence in you because you're a broker, you're not just a sales agent, You're a broker. So they got more confidence in you. Your clientele goes up. I had a successful real estate business, and I got hoodwinked out of it, threatened. Get out of the business. It's our business, not yours. Get out of here, you punk. Get out of here. That actually happened to me, but not in those words. And I tell it on my other tapes. You go on my other tapes, I tell you what happened to me. How they maneuvered my listings so nobody could see them but me when they were looking for a house. Nobody could see my listings but me. And I thought they were on the internet. Until one of my clients calls me up. It was an expensive home too, that's why they called me up. I looked for my house on there and I don't see it. Where is it? I said, it's on there. And I went back to the computer and I checked it. I see it, it's on there. Well, I can't find it. It won't come up for me. So I found out that whoever's looking for a house isn't seeing my houses online. They're not seeing my houses online. Why? Well, there's all kinds of reasons why, but I know why. And I'm not going to accuse anybody of it, but you figure it out. I know how crooked it is too, because they wanted to get out of going to school every 2 years. The people that have been agents for a long time, you know, or brokers or what, they still had to go 22 hours coursework and pay that money and everything else. You know, that's the way they make their money. You know, the real estate board. They grabbed me for $1,000 the last time. Wouldn't give me any credit either. If I wanted to rejoin, you got to pay the $1,000 again. They're just out. Everybody's out after your money in that game. I spent more money on schools and materials and prep time and all that other stuff. More money than I made for the first year or two. Then after that, I started making some money, and I was being able to pay my dues with no problem. You know, dues were like $600-700 a year. Which is low, I don't know. This was one of them for around here. I don't know if it's high or low. I don't know. They get that every. There was what, 300 agents stuff, and they all paying thousands. So it's 300 grand. So you can run an office. You can run a board of realtors, and it could be run on 300,000, almost $500,000. I don't know what the budget is, but I know there's some good people in it, and then there's ones that are the rabble rousers, the ones that they want to crucify Jesus in the crowd, and nobody was saying crucify him until the rabble rousers got in there and they said crucify him, crucify him, crucify him, and they got a thing going, and everybody crucify, crucify, yeah, everybody crucify, crucify. Before you know it, everybody was saying crucify him, crucify. That's the same thing I was up against. Rabble rousers. Because most of the people in real estate are very nice and kind and giving and very nice people. But there's the greedy ones that are in there that are in charge. They're greedy. They're hoarding. The market. They want to hoard. They want to greed the market. And they see somebody brand new coming up. Who's this punk? I'll show him. I was up against that. And I saw that when I said, well, you can see him and I can't. Or I can see him and you can't. That's what it was. I could see him on my computer because whoever was doing it knew how to do that in the program. Because when I complained about it, they changed it. So it wasn't no longer doing that. Who knew how to do that? There you go. There's proof right there. And the other one is all the ones that were there for 15, 20, 30 years, brokers and stuff, they were sick and tired of paying 22 and a half hours every 2 years. You had to go to school. It was a burden to them. They've been doing it long enough. They don't. You can't tell them they have to take the same courses over again because they don't have enough courses. They just want you to get your money. That's why that law is. So after these guys lobbied, this is how the lobby system works now, people. Watch this. These agents that had an interest 15 years or more of agent, being an agent or a broker, they lobbied to get the law changed that if you had 15 years or more, you didn't have to do school anymore. And they got it passed. And they were grandfathered in. Because they were 15, 20, 25, 30, some of them even more than that. There's one down there was 50 years of agent. Yikes. She did well too. She had her daughter did really well. Her daughter got into selling HUD homes and all that stuff. But anyway, I'm not talking about that, but there were some nice people in real estate. But there were the rabble-rousing hoarders that had control over the market. And they professed themselves to be holy and Christian and all that other stuff. But there were backstabbers. They were crooks. Hoodwinkers, I call them. Hoodwinker. Oh, you hoodwinker. Better than saying, oh, you crook. I just call them a hoodwinker. Hey, hoodwinker, what's happening, man? They know what I'm talking about, because they know what they did. I don't have none of that. I don't want friends like that. I don't want to be around people like that. I gave that one person I'm talking about, right? A two-family. And I asked him for a $500 finder's fee, because he's making $3,500 or something like that. Not the deal. He got it, sold it, bam, just like that. I can get like $500 out of him. I'm a broker, he's a broker. I had to pull teeth to get that $500 out. He grabbed $3,000. He's already closed 100 houses or something like that, making over 100,000 a year or something. Who knows? And all the records are right there in front of you. You can look and see who made what. These guys, there's some guys in there that are up on every agent out there. They know who they want to corral and get into their claws. Get their claws into your money. When I came into this one, I had to give $900 of my commission because that was what the cost was of getting in. And so I did that. And then they said, well, you gotta join this other place now that costs something, now you gotta make dues and all that. And I just said, why can't you just take it out of the $900 I just gave you for doing nothing? Why can't you pay it off? And I'll be happy and I'll stay being a broker here and you make a lot of money off me. No, you gotta pay that. No, you gotta pay that. We're not paying that. Greedy, hoarding, greedy people. And they all busted up, they didn't last. The guy looked out for himself anyways when he found something else. He just told everybody that was slaving for him to take a hike. I know I talked to him on the phone. But we don't know who that was. You guys don't know me, you don't know who I work for, you don't know nothing. I'm just telling you my experience. The truth. Not the way I see it. I'm telling you the truth, what happened. And I think I'm educated enough to bring the point across what I'm trying to make. We gotta take and change our laws, people. If we corrupt our children, they'll grow up, and guess what? When you're sick and old and you can't do the dishes anymore, They'll ask, what can you do? Can you pull the plug? They won't give him a crap about you. You bring them up, crop them. Right now, two homosexuals can go into an orphanage, adopt a kid, bring it home, give him a good family life. Everything he wants, clothes, they're experiencing what a family is. They're in love. They're in there sticking their tongue down each other's throat in the middle of the night with your children listening. The moaning and groaning and all that. And children, when they become sexually mature, what are they going to relate their feelings to, their urges to? Oh, that feeling that they heard when it was going on in that room that they were listening to. And we've all listened, people. We have all listened. I remember my father making my family, screaming and everything else goes on. My father, I'm the firstborn too. I got all of his practice. He practiced on me. Jimmy got, my brother Jimmy, he didn't get the whippings that Mike and I got. I got more whippings than Mike. My dad was really fond of my brother Mike. My brother Mike was a comedian. My dad loved to laugh. And my brother Mike, he used to do this thing, Mr. Dunny. Mr. Dunny! You know, he had the face and everything, and he'd make my dad roll on the floor. You know? I didn't have that. I was more serious-minded about things. I'm learning. The oldest, everybody's looking at me. Boy, it's funny, you know, because the things that you do at that age and how they're being thought about by the rest of your family or your brothers, your siblings, you know, they think about what happens and all that stuff. It's like the one thing that I have to bring it up because my brother's accusing me of it. When we were before pubic hair time, talking about 9, 10, somewhere around there, we all got together one time and huddled together skin against skin, feeling, we call it giggling. Giggle, 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 giggle. We get together and we don't giggle and giggle and giggle. And I was the oldest brother, you know, we all had that giggle. To me, oldest brother, I'm the big guy, you know. I'm a year older than that. Come on. My brother's bigger than me right now. I'm 228 pounds sitting here. And, I was down to 218 the other day, but I drank a lot of liquids and stuff, juices and all that. So I gained weight. 8.5 pounds per gallon for liquid. So I drank about gallons worth of juice probably, and that's why my weight's up there. But here I am. Where was I? Oh, God, I lost. Oh, I'm not going to finish that story. I won't know until I cut the tape and go back. I should have finished that story. Oh, darn it. Where was I? Alzheimer's. It's not Alzheimer's, it's Parkinson's. Shaky hand, shaky hand. Right now I have these two fingers are numb. And this is my chord hand. I can play the guitar with this. I don't use my baby finger much. I do some hammer-ons with it. And that's why it don't sound really as good as it should sound. I can hear it. You guys can't hear it because you're not musicians and stuff. You just hear what I'm doing. But if I don't get this guitar in my hand, I'm never going to get it in my hand. And I don't even know if it's tuned. And I can't do that because I got the battery. I found the battery, but I lost the casing that the battery goes in so you can put it in the guitar so you can check to see if the guitar's tuned. So what I'm going to do with this here is I'm going to do it like they did back in the 80s, 70s. I'm going to do it with a microphone instead of my RC500. See, RC500, I can do this. Wait a second. What am I doing here? I'm robbing you guys. You guys should get what I can really do. All right, here we go. Ooh. Oh boy. Gotta squeeze into my gear. I'm a Marian helper. Oh, I love being a Marian helper. I love my Blessed Mother. I love the Blessed Mother. I love her. You see what I'm talking about? The Spirit is moving all over the land. Are you going to get some of the Spirit, everybody? It's here. It's right here. The Paraclete Jesus sent has been here, right in front of our face. Some of us have found it, and some of us have lost it. But the Paraclete is here. It's Holy Eucharist. It's been here ever since Jesus rose from the dead and went to the Father. He said, I will send you the Paraclete.
The spirits are moving. Get with it. There's a lot more where that came from. A lot more. Almighty God, take over. Hallelujah. I'm a Marian helper. I'm trying to help Kenya get water wells so the babies won't be eaten by the crocodiles. Would you send some money down to him? He's got a foundation, Father Kariuki and George, Kenya. The children are praying for you. Give them what they need.